Okay. I am live for the second stream of the lobster rewrite.
I was
Whoops, how do I?
well for Arizona.
In which I will try to, I want to try to make it a bit shorter and a bit more fast-paced than last time, because last time was pretty slow. It took way too long. So this time I will try to go a bit faster over stuff. Okay, let me try to pop the chat somehow. Where do I want to put it? Somewhere here. Okay, like this. Just like this. Okay, let me just adjust some stuff. Okay. Shit. I know why this happens. I just need to move some windows around. Okay. So, I added a little bit of, a little bit of research. And the first thing I'm gonna cover is gonna be ANSI escape codes, which I'm gonna use for printing some messages. That means errors, warnings, info messages. Also, let me quickly just change this stuff into proper org. This is done into org to-dos. This is to do. This is kinda in progress, but it's not done yet. So this is where I stopped last time, and there's some stuff that I want to clean up and change a little bit. And so I guess the first thing that I'll start to address is I will cover what ANSI escape codes are and how to utilize them in shell scripting. So I'm banned from WikiWand. Let me just disable it really quick. I think it's because I'm using VPN. Whoops. Can I just Wikipedia? Whoops. Let me just open it in a private tab. Little issue with my extension. So ANSI escape codes, I'm not gonna cover everything about them. You can look it up if you want, but if we just go to the example section, there's for shell scripting, there's some examples, like for example the reset command. There's also some stuff for colors, and there's the thing with the flasher, which I thought was a cool example, so I want to implement it for my errors. And so if I just demonstrate maybe how it works, if I go into bash and I paste the same function as given here, it's a while loop. They made it into one line, but yeah, it's just a while true loop, and then what you do is you print one thing, sleep for 0.1, then print another thing, and then you wait until user gives any input. So if I call this function like this, you see what it did? It just flashed the screen twice, or not twice, but as many times as needed. And I want to implement this for my errors, because I thought it was pretty cool. But that's not all about ANSI escape codes, because you can also use ANSI escape codes for printing stuff in different colors. And here I have some examples that I just yanked off of GitHub, and projects that I participated in, or stuff that I wrote myself. And so if I just, for example, do this, and then I print So it's gonna say error, and then error is gonna be in a certain color, which you'll see in a second. And then there's a %s for string substitution in the printf command. So if I just do, for example, foobar as my error message, you see it prints error in blue. Or actually it could also, it's probably blue because of my color scheme, but okay, it's just blue. I think it's still blue because of my terminal color scheme, but whatever, it's just, I think it's supposed to be red. It's just a distinguishable color. Yeah, I think it's red. Anyways, so I have these printf commands with this ANSI escape codes that I collected. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement some helper functions. So first of all, let me steal the flasher function because that's kind of cool, I think. And I'll just call it flash because that's a bit easier for me. And then I'll reformat it a little bit. So first I will just make everything go on its own line. So it's a bit, for me it's a bit more readable that way. This I will also sleep for 0.1. And then just done. And I don't have to put a semicolon because it's a new line. The semicolon is only used basically when you do a one-line shell command. The semicolon is used for denoting that you ended the line and basically the next line starts. And so if I just do this and then I call it, and then I just exit without any code. This is just for testing purposes. Let's just run this. Yeah, see, it just keeps flashing, but it never stops. And what I want to do is I want to pass maybe an H is for the black color and L, or yeah, for the black color, and L is for the white color, or like light version. So what I'm gonna do instead of a while loop, I'm gonna do a for loop. And the way that you write for loops in shell is you also have a done keyword at the end. And then there's a neat trick that you can use. So you can do for I as the variable in a for loop. You can do I in, and then you can use sec for sequence. And then you just give it a number. So if I do, for example, sequence 5, it will just give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I do 10, yeah, same thing. So it's just like it's a range. It's, if you know, in other programming languages have for I in range, and then you give it, for example, 5. And so what I'm going to do here is instead of sequence and then hard coding it to 5 or whatever, which I could do actually. And yeah, this is the syntax. So for example, if I do 5, we can run it. So just demonstrate. Whoops, not do, not done. Do. for this printf message, and then I will exit with the return code 1. So if we look for exit, you can pass the code. So usually the way you do stuff in Unix and in C, for instance, you exit, you return what's called the return code, and that means is there any errors. And so if you return normally, like if everything went well, you're supposed to return with exit code 0, so you do exit 0. But since we're using die, that means that there was some error, so we're gonna exit 1. So if you check afterwards, the error code is gonna be 1. And now we can just test it. I'm just gonna do die something went horribly wrong. And now if we run this, something went horribly wrong, and you see how it flashes twice and then shows the error. That's kind of the behavior I want. Maybe I'll just flash 1. Yeah, and I'll flash 2. This is just personal preference, of course. And let's then implement the other stuff that I have. So I'll just make a couple helper functions. So the first one's going to be just for warnings. And I'm going to move this here. Then I'm going to make one for info. Same thing. Whoops. Yeah, let me just indent it properly. And then a debug one. A debug one, or maybe let's do log, it's a bit shorter. And another thing that I want to do, so right now I'm printing stuff, but I'm just printing it to standard output, and there's different streams. There's different streams in I don't know in what in programming, in Unix, I guess. So there's stream 0, stream 1, and stream 2. 0 is what's called standard input. It's what your program takes in as an input. 1 is standard output, so when you just do printf, you print a standard output, or whatever you print in your program. And 2 is standard error, and this is used for printing debug messages, for printing errors, for printing info. And the reason there's different streams is because sometimes you don't want to show your standard error stream, sometimes you want to show it. So maybe you want to show only errors, or you just want to show the normal stuff. So what I will add is I will just redirect. So you can do redirect like you redirect to a file. And to specify that I want to use a file descriptor, meaning the stream, I just do 2 for the second one, which is standard error. And now we'll just do this everywhere here. For these functions I implemented. And then for log also I will check, I will use only log when I enable the debug environment variable. And this is kind of a common pattern as well. So I'm going to use parameter substitution like before. If you remember, it was var and then dash string, like the default value that you want. So we're going to use debug if it's set. Otherwise, we will use 0 because that means that it's unset, and then we'll just check if it's equal to 1. And if it's not equal to 1, then we will just return from this function, so we'll do nothing. Otherwise, we proceed. So this is the OR operator. It means that either this first condition is true or the other condition then is. So if this is not, so if, I mean, it's just like a fancier way of doing if statement. Luke Smith has a good video about logical operators in shell. Maybe watch that if you're confused, but just a common pattern. If debug is not enabled. If it's either not set or it's set to 0, then just return 0, return from the function without any errors. And then we just print the debug stuff. So now if I try, maybe let's do a warn. This is a warning. And then let's just do let's just do this, and then here we'll do info. This is an info, and then log. This is a log, and log should not work because I didn't set the debug thing to true. So warning, this is the warning, this is an info. Maybe for info I want to do something like, actually I'll just keep it like that, it's fine. And now if I enable, if I remember how to use Vim, if I enable debug equals 1, and I don't forget to add the H, it should print. Did I mess something up? Did I mess something up? Ah, I forgot to specify. Yeah, I did mess something up. And see here we have this is a log. So everything works. We have some pretty messages, which we will use, of course, or I will use, not we. There's no we. So we got some fancy messages. We got a fancy flash thing. So now maybe, I guess first I have error handling. Maybe let's do some error handling. So let me think for a second. So what I'll do is just, I implemented die, so I guess if there's no results, then we can just die because it doesn't make sense, because something went wrong. But this is printing. Where do I curl it? Ah, this is where. Okay, let me just move these a bit lower so it makes more sense here. Okay, so I'll have to error handle that first probably. So instead of curl, so I looked up some curl stuff, and curl has a fail command, but it's not exactly what I want. Instead what I want is something with a timeout, and sometimes something with a timeout, and also something that will just die if there's no error, if there's like a network error or the output is empty. So I will do a curl safe function, which I'll move later, but just for now. And what I'll do is out, like the output is equal to, and then I will use, if I can find my parentheses, I'll use curl with the silent argument and also the L for redirect, which I covered in the last time, and then I think it's max timeout. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But I think that was it. Max timeout. Oh, max time in connect timeout. Okay. But I think that's what I want. I can also do -m, but for these kinds of commands, I prefer doing the verbose way, so it's more clear if someone else reads it. Yeah, and then it's in seconds. So if it doesn't connect, then let's do 10. In 10 seconds, that means that it failed. So, and here again we use the first argument, and so either this succeeds. Topi says, "What the fuck is this shit?" Yeah, it's shell scripting. It's a bit complicated if you don't know anything. Your brain isn't registering anything here. That's fine. You need a little bit of Linux knowledge and maybe some shell knowledge. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, but what of HTML? Yeah. I mean, it's not super complicated. You just need to know a couple things. But I think this is as simple as it gets, like in terms of web scraping. But it's really not as complicated as you think. So if I have no output, then I will just die. I'll with the error message curl failed. Network error, like I didn't manage anything, and then I can print what I passed. Scratch certificate. Scratch is really best. Simple maxim. Scratch is fire. I remember Scratch in school. It's actually fun. It's how programming should be, instead of these bullshit numbers everywhere. Like what is percent? Whether it's dollar sign. Why do we have capitalistic dollars here in my code? Makes no sense. Okay, and also if there's nothing, so dash z in shell is for checking if if something is empty, if a value is empty. Yeah, if the length of the string is 0, that's the actual definition, but yeah, just if something's empty. So if output is empty, then in that case we do. This is just a easier, shorter way to do an if statement. So if it's empty, then we also die, but we die with the message curl returned an empty response. And here I'll also include the actual thing we curled. And otherwise we will just print. The output. We'll just print the output. And now if I use, instead of curl as curl safe, it should hopefully work. Why even doing this? I'm just rewriting a program that I wrote, a script that I wrote a while ago. And since a lot of people use it, and a lot of people are complaining that it breaks because the source is kind of shit, I'm rewriting it from scratch with like a different architecture so I can maintain it more easily. And I'm also doing like for educational purposes, kind of, I guess, to show people how to write this stuff. Because a lot of people are curious about they asked for devlogs. So now we can probably check if it's working. Use cars. Yeah, so it is working. Maybe do. So it does work with curl safe, and now I don't remember if I have any other curl requests. I have one for thumbnails, and that's it. So I will replace this with curl safe, and I will just move the function a bit higher up. Probably here is good. So you can just watch movies. Yeah, just watch movies and shows just from the terminal. So it's a bit faster than going to a website and tracks your history. I mean, there's a lot of interesting features. It's a pretty interesting program, I think. But I don't know if this curl safe will work. Because here maybe I need to pass, instead of $1, maybe I need to use star, but I can also just test it. Yeah, that will not work. But I think if I pass star, then it maybe not star, then maybe at. Okay. Oh wow. Return an empty response. Ah, yeah, because it doesn't make sense actually for me to use curl safe for this. It doesn't make sense because it's fine for this to fail. Okay, anyways, I don't need this. Okay, then for the next error handling thing, I will just I'll probably just check stuff for being empty. So if the results is empty, then we will die. We will die. We will die. No thumbnails were downloaded. Something went wrong with your network or query. Or query. And then you just die. Yeah, this should be okay. This should be okay. Then this, this. This I might wanna rewrite it a bit. I might wanna split it into 2 parts. So first I will do found. First I'll do found because there might be no thumbnails. They might have been downloaded something, but then they're not actually properly downloaded. So we do find thumbnails there. Yeah, and then also I looked up the find command, and there's a thing, or I saw it on Sodding stream. There's a thing with dash name, and then I can just use, I'm pretty sure, if I go into my wallpapers, do I have a wallpaper here? Okay, so if I do pics wallpapers, and then I do dash name, and then I do anything that ends with .jpeg. Yeah, I can do it like this. Let me just test if this works first. Name. This is probably a bit cleaner, and it gives me the whole path, but I don't remember what exact base name does because I stole that command from myself, but from a while ago, so I'm not sure how it works. Yeah, okay. Oh, it gives me just the base name. Okay, I do need that then. But I can rename. I can use name. Okay, let me just yoink this. Oops. Let me just yoink this, and then actually I don't need to use base name. I don't need to use base name. I just need to check if this is if this has something. So I can do head -1 to just get the first thing. Like the first line if there's anything. And I'll also suppress errors because I don't care. And what I did here for suppressing errors is that I just used the standard error stream. So anything in stream 2 I redirected to /dev/null, which basically means that if there's an error it will get redirected to dev null, which is nothing, and basically it will just not display any errors. And then if and if there's nothing found, yeah, but then that's the same kind of. Yes. I didn't even realize what is the line number. Oh my god. Is that the only part you understood so far? So maybe this error message makes more sense. And here I'll just say no results were found. And here no thumbnails were downloaded. Yeah, okay. That makes more sense. And then here I will use the command that I had before, then title, IMDb. Okay. Yes. I look at the line number now. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe, no, it's not okay, because I also need to check, because let's say, for example, we look up cars, and then the user, because the user is dumb, instead of clicking on something, they just Control-C, they exit without choosing anything. The script continues, but I don't really like that, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna capture the return code of the last command, and the way you can do it in shell, there's I think it's $, question mark, if I remember correctly. I can do oh wow, okay, interesting history, but I can do echo hi, and then if I do so maybe that was not the best example, but I'm in fish. So if I do maybe if I do return 0. No. How can I do? I can just do, okay, I can do echo hi, and then if I echo something like this, yeah, I get return code 0, but I need something maybe that fails. Oh, maybe I can just write a condition real quick. 1 equals 0, and this should fail. Yeah, and see, now the return code is 1, so instead of having 0 errors, we have 1 error, so the return code is not 0. And I'm pretty sure that for FZF it's the same thing. Whoops, I need dash. So if I just quit with Control-C, I think if I do, yeah, it's 130, okay. And if I select something, then it's 0, okay. So I can work with that. So I'll just do return code equals $, question mark. And then if this return code, let me just quote it, is not equal to, yeah, so in shell you do dash not and e for not equal to 0, then we can just die. No selection made. No selection made. And same thing if the user choice is empty. Bash forever. Yes. If it's empty, and if you remember, I said that for checking if the length of a string is 0, we do -z. So now if I try again, the cars example, yeah, no selection was made with a flash, boom, boom, it works. Awesome. So what's the next thing that I want to do? Whoops, did they even have like a... Did they even have a plan? I guess for thumbnails, because this is a bit ugly. Yeah, maybe I can demonstrate the trap function. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna create a, this is a pattern that I just use, so I remember it. I usually create a cleanup function, and this is a function that I run when the script exits. And so what I will do is, instead of rm refing thumbnails here, I'll do it here. And then just exit with, yeah, and then just exit. And what I will do is I will trap different exit codes. So I will say that I will call the cleanup function. So first, to trap, you pass if I find, I think, is it sick drop? It's not sick drop. I see, makes sense to put it on the cleanup, yes. I don't have documentation for, is it in woman maybe? It's not in woman. Is it in man? I checked. Can I man trap? Yeah, I can. So first you pass the function, yeah, you pass the function that you wanna call when you trap a signal, and then you pass the list of signals. Yeah, argument, not argument. But anyways, I just know how to use it. I don't have to look up the documentation. So I do a couple exit calls. I do the exit one, so when you exit normally. Then I do the int, which is for interrupt. This is when you do like Control C and then term for terminate. And also hop. Hop is for when you close the terminal, if I remember correctly. But anyways, this just calls this function whenever we do that. So it's a bit cleaner, I guess. And also a thing I can do right away with the for the path for the thumbnails, I can change it to use the actual emptier environment variable using parameter expansion that I covered before. It's a bit cleaner. So again, if you remember, first you do variable, then like the default you want to set for it. So the variable will be temptier, the global one. And if it doesn't exist, then we use /tmp. And I think that's how it works. Let me see if I have this. I don't have it set, but usually people set it, I'm pretty sure. And var. There's a command called environment variable. It should be specified. Yeah. Common default is /tmp. Yeah, okay. So it should be specified like that. So maybe someone wants to have a custom one, so whatever. So this is also already a bit cleaner. And I think that's probably it for today. I mean, I did some cleanup stuff. I think it's a bit cleaner now. Maybe in the readme I will mention, do I have like references maybe? I'll create the references section so I can link the pure Sage Bible because it's useful. And then I can probably commit all these changes. Yeah, like this. Because I'm already on the branch. So I'll just create a commit. No, how do I create a commit? Maybe I need to stage them. The changes first. Yeah, this is just me playing around. And then I can create a commit and I'll just do feed part 1 and 2 of the rewrite. And then I will elaborate a little more. Part 1 created, maybe not created, maybe wrote basic TMDB scraper with thumbnail preview. Part 2 cleaned up code, added error handling and helper functions for displaying messages. Okay. And then I can push it. Push the remotes into that upstream crane net. Yeah, like this. Okay, now it's in the commits. Perfect. Okay, I think that's it for today. I'll do some more stuff next time. Next time I'll probably implement the actual scraper to get from the TeamDB ID to get the video links. I'll just have to check what source I do, but that's probably gonna be the next stream. It's gonna be some web scraping stuff. Okay then, thank you. Thank you for those who watched and commented. That is it for today. Until next time, bye bye.